Well, hello everyone. My name is Swamp, and it is time for some racial healing. I didn't exactly have enough time to put together the full regular show, so we're just gonna hang out in my living room, watch some TV from our good friends over at MSNBC. That kind of rhymed. I didn't even mean to do that. Anyway, what they say is this is MSNBC town hall. MSNBC's Chris Hayes and Joy Reid talk about activists, journalists, artists, and experts to explore the harm racism has caused in our society and to consider how we might heal from it. Well, this just sounds downright important. I mean, this is a game changer. Though I think this is like the third or fourth year in a row they've done this, and it's they're still doing it. So I don't know if it's not working or if it's just working so well they're going to keep doing it. And the comments love it. The comments love it. One woman says, "Thank you so much for sharing these beautiful people, heroes." Wow. We need this every week of the year. Yeah. This I mean, you can already tell this is going to be some really important stuff. So, before we jump into it, don't forget, Super Chats, activate the Super Chat jukebox. Get a fun song for supporting the channel. And of course, link to the Discord is in the chat. So, if you want to share memes and just talk about dumb stuff that we can't talk about on YouTube, you can join that. All right, without further ado, and I'm so excited. MSNBC, take it away, please.
This is an MSNBC special presentation. Sponsored by the W.K. Kellogg Foundation.
And already, it's
The National Day of Racial
the
Healing
racial
Town
healing
Hall,
is showing
live from Studio
doing
B in
graffiti.
New Orleans.
That seems kind of
Here are
racist.
Joy Reid and Chris Hayes.
I'm not entirely sure how much of this I can play before they take it down for like copyright strikes or something. But we'll find out.
And welcome to our town hall on the National Day of Racial Healing, an event created 6 years ago by our sponsor, the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. This special day is held every year on the day after the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday.
And if you look around, you'll see that we're in this glorious space, incredible room. It's part of the Studio B, which is a set of former warehouses turned into an art experience by the artist Brandon B. Mike Odoms here in the Bywater neighborhood of the great city of New Orleans. Our colleague Tremaine Lee, who has been doing some reporting for this project, is here with us as well. And so is the Young Fellas Brass Band.
Oh, I'm hyped. I'm ready for the brass band. Oh my God, this audio is terrible. They didn't have anybody who understood how audio works. They're like, no one told them that, hey, maybe having a brass band playing in a giant open area with a bunch of mics, people standing in different places, was going to sound like garbage. They just didn't have the budget. It's MSNBC after all. Oh, sorry, I accidentally skipped. Here we go.
A gathering place and trading hub for people of different backgrounds and cultures going back centuries.
And so we want to acknowledge, thank, and honor the indigenous peoples for whom this part of the world has long been home.
Oh,
like the Chitimacha,
already.
The Choctaw, the Homa, dozens of others. And we're meeting like this in the round, literally. We're drawing on the indigenous practice of healing circles. The work that we're here to do tonight is for everybody, wherever you came from and wherever you're going.
Doesn't that already seem... I have a feeling most things in this are going to seem kind of racist. if I was hanging out with some friends and I realized we were sitting in a circle and I was like, hey guys, we're totally doing what the natives do. This is an indigenous people's thing. Do you feel the healing circle? Man, already, yeah, it's already cultural appropriation. I expect there to be a lot of that during this.
Going. You are all part of this story.
Now, you could not find a better spot on earth for our mission tonight to explore the
Wow.
harm that racism has done to our society and to consider how we might heal from it. Now, in a time when those questions feel so urgent for this country, just this week, another community is dealing with what appears to be a racially motivated attack on a college student. Stories like these have become...
Yeah, it appears to be. All right, place your bets now. What are the odds that whatever this is a hoax or is an otherwise a misinterpreted event? Because I've never heard this story. I am very interested. I think this might be the first actual case that we've heard of in how long? Of an actual racist attack. Let's find out.
all too common.
All too common.
In the country. I mean, everywhere in the country. So please have a listen.
The town of Southbury is now the latest to be targeted by white supremacist literature.
Gay and racial slurs and words of anti-Semitism spray painted in white.
Someone scribbled...
Man, look at this already. They're putting like this fake film to make it look scarier. Like, look,
Of Southbury
watch.
is now the latest to be targeted by white supremacist literature.
Gay and racial
See, look,
slurs and words of anti-Semitism.
They're adding that old vintage film look to it. I'm surprised they don't have it black and white with the music they've got playing on it. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the first case of it's an actual case of this happening in modern memory. This is going to be it. I'm sure of it.
Semitism spray painted in white.
Someone scribbled hateful, racist rhetoric on the exterior walls and roadway.
The violent.
Oh, come on. I'm pretty sure. Wouldn't a racist know how to actually... I mean, that is a piss poor swastika. I guess they were just trying to do it quick, you know? I mean, that's god awful. I could do better.
On the exterior walls and roadway.
The violent anti-black messages were scrawled with a marker inside a boys' restroom.
Racist graffiti at school. White supremacy code dangling over the highway.
Oh, that one I think has already been proven as a hoax. Isn't that the one where in the bathroom stall saying that I hate blacks? Which I'm not saying. I'm quoting. This is a news program. Wasn't that one already proven that it was a black kid that did it? Or no, was that the one that was on the college campus? I'm pretty sure that was it. I'm pretty sure that's the one where they were all upset about it and they investigated it and it turns out it was a black kid who did it and he was like on camera doing it. I think. I'm not sure. That usually is the case. I mean, not that it's usually a black person doing it, but that usually it's not. You know, usually it's not a noose. It's a pulley for a garage door. Call me a cynic, but I'm not buying it.
Highway. All of those incidents of hate taking place in this country, just in the month of December alone. It is starting to feel like we have reached a break.
All right, let's check it out. Let's roll it back. Let's read these headlines. Southbury's latest community targeted with supremacist literature. It doesn't even say, well, that's weird. It doesn't even say white supremacist. Anti-Semitic banner found hanging from North Carolina bridge on second to last day of Hanukkah. I haven't heard of either of these two.
Just in the month of December
And then,
alone.
truly disgusting. Anti-Semitic racist graffiti discovered at South Riding Town Hall. I've actually not heard of any of these. I don't think. I have heard the one that they showed right after this, which was the guys holding the banners off the overpass. That was the
It is starting to feel
for
like
that
we
website,
have
yeah.
reached a breaking.
GoyamTV.tv. That one was real because it was about Kanye West. But yes, that one actually did happen. I remember when that happened. It was all over 4chan. Not that I frequent 4chan. That's for white supremacists. I poll? What's that? I have no idea.
Point.
The Congresswoman appeared at a white nationalist event on Friday.
Sitting members of Congress openly aligning themselves with white supremacists.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, the biggest boogeyman in the world. It doesn't even matter what she says or ever does. She just is the worst ever. And you know what's interesting? They actually used a halfway decent picture of her. Usually they try to find the ones that make her look kind of Neanderthal-like. Or they play up the Georgia inbred. You know, like when they would take the pictures of Donald Trump and make them more orange so that they could say how orange he was. I just know the orange man is bad. That's all I know. Usually they try to find not particularly flattering pictures. That's all I'm saying.
Leaders.
This is an invasion of this country.
We have a literal invasion of lawless masses flooding over our border from more than 160 countries.
Members of the LA City Council caught on audio late last year.
I am going to hope beyond hope that we are about to see the first time ever where they show these types of things and then they actually prove why saying that there is an invasion pouring across our southern border is actually inaccurate. Because they never seem to actually do that. They always say, they play the clips of people saying there's an invasion going across our border, and they just go, isn't that crazy? And you go, well, I mean, he's provided evidence. What do you have? Well, we have that, dummy. Yes, very constructive. So I'm hoping that MSNBC on the 6th year, whatever it was, of the National Day of Racial Healing, are finally going to provide, they're going to show the damning evidence that the idea that there is people pouring across our southern border is totally inaccurate, and it's completely 100% based off of racial prejudice. I have faith. Joy Reid would not lie to me. She never has in the past, that's for sure.
Using racist slurs. It feels like we're backsliding, and it is not just violent language.
A woman from the Philippines recovering tonight from a vicious anti-Asian attack in Yonkers.
The hostage situation.
Do I have to be the one to say it? Do I have to be the one to say it? The only video they showed of a racial attack, do I have to be the one that says it? So they show all this stuff. Come on, do I have to be the one that says it? They show all the... Yeah, they show the Proud Boys and they show all the evil white people. And then the one video they show that they claim is showing racial hatred. What are the odds they're going to mention it? What are the elephant in the room? The large black elephant in the room. What are the odds they're going to mention it? No, they're good. They're journalists. They'll bring it up, I'm sure.
Anti-Asian attack in Yonkers.
The hostage situation at a synagogue in Colleyville last weekend was targeted terrorism at the Jewish community.
Police believe the suspect traveled more than 3 hours from here to Buffalo to carry out the attack as an...
Well, I am shocked. Shocked, I say. Well, not that shocked.
Act of racially motivated violent extremism.
The Justice Department naming racially motivated extremism.
Oh, hey, look, it's the feds. It's Patriot Front. It's the feds. It's the feds. Man. So far we've had a lot of accusations, one of which I'm like 90% sure is the one I read about that was fake. But we've only had one. We've talked a lot about white people and the evils of white people because, duh, I mean, I'm obviously an evil white cartoon. That's I've never pretended otherwise. But we've had a lot of talk. One video of someone being attacked, not by a white person, and then the feds. The feds themselves. The old Patriot Front. Does the left even believe that the Patriot Front is actually a white supremacist right-wing militia? Do they even really believe that? Or do they know that it's the feds and they just are going to go with the narrative because it's helpful? I'm not sure. Not sure. It's damn feds. Wouldn't be surprised if Ray Epps was there.
As the biggest threat to our national security.
Dozens of white supremacists marched through Boston today.
Hate is on the rise.
I'm still waiting for the footage of the attacks from the white people.
And it is no longer just lurking in the shadows. What do we do now that racist extremists once again...
Oh, hey, isn't this the rally where the white Trump supporter got shot by that Antifa guy? Remember what I'm talking about? There was the big biker looking guy, and this Antifa guy said he was quote unquote working security for some like local news station or something. And they started arguing, and then they shoved each other. And it's all on video, and there's all his photos of it and stuff where the Antifa guy pulls out a gun, and then so the Trump supporter guy pulls out bear mace and tries to spray him before he gets shot, but then he ends up shooting him like twice or something like that and kills him. Oh no, look out for the evil white supremacists. Look out. Okay, again, so far we have a black guy attacking an Asian woman. We have a lot of photos of the Proud Boys. Tons of photos of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers. And we have an instance of one of the supposed right-wing white supremacists being shot by a leftist. This is not working in their favor thus far. At least, we'll see. It's early. It's early yet. It is early yet. We'll see. The night is young.
Feel emboldened to march down our streets. What can we do to stand up to the hate? What can we do to heal?
What can we do?
Joining us now are three women who have come face to face with the hate that is plaguing our nation.
Nicole Hannah-Jones, Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter and creator of the 1619 Project, which will premiere as a docuseries on Hulu.
Oh man. This is how they're doing it, huh? Wow. Man, I laughed so hard I accidentally skipped into the video. Wow. That's how you get credibility for what you're about to show. Is you get the person behind the 1619 Project, which is known to just be one of the most trustworthy and accurate pieces of literature in the last ever in American history. How is this still going? This 1619 Project. It was thoroughly debunked and proven that she even knew she was making this stuff up. Because she even admitted that, well, basically, I never said that this was like accurate. It was just a more emotional. Yeah, well, I can't remember how she worded it, but it was more. It was a more accurate, based off of feeling. You know, like what the events really meant. It wasn't actually history. That would be crazy. Yeah, seriously. She basically did say that it was like a fan fiction. I can't remember what word she used. She said something. It was like, because once it got thoroughly debunked and it was shown like you just made all this up. Her defense was basically that, yes, I did make this up. I never claimed that it was reality. And you go, well, yes, you did claim that actually. And they started teaching it at universities. And she said, well, it's more of a, it's like what AOC said. It's more important to be, what was it she said? It's more important to be, what was it? Instead of factually correct, it was more important to be, how did she word it? Come on, you guys remember. Where she said, what was the word she used? I haven't seen it in so long. She said it's more important to be morally correct than factually right. That's basically what this woman said. So, you know, I was already going into this thinking, well, we're about to hear a bunch of garbage, but now I know we're about to hear a bunch of garbage. All right, let's keep it up. Let's see if I put it back at the right spot here. Yeah, here we go.
Joining us now are three women who have come face to face with the hate that is plaguing our nation.
Nicole Hannah-Jones, Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter and creator of the 1619 Project, which will premiere as a docuseries on Hulu later this month. She's now Howard University's Knight Chair in Race and Journalism. Also with us, Sharon Nazarian of the Anti-Defamation League, which fights racism and anti-Semitism globally.
And Michelle Mi-Jun Kim is the CEO of Awaken and the author.
Oh, well, she's actually kind of cute. I mean, that's kind of rare, right? Gotta just let my misogyny shine through real quick. She's actually kind of cute. That's kind of rare for this crowd, right? Not because of their races, because of their lifestyle choices and their beliefs. They don't, you know what I mean. I better stop before I just keep burying myself here. Though today in my video I did say that, God, I love to be white. or I love being white. So you know what? I guess this is the day. This is it. Swamp gets canceled. Finally, once and for all. Did you hear? In the same day, he said, and I love being white. And he also said that a woman was cute. Man. The sexism and misogyny. A woman is cute. What year do you think this is? 2012? Those were the dark ages.
Of the wake up, closing the gap between good intention and real change. So thank you all for joining us for this roundtable part of the discussion. And by the way, reading a prompt is harder than it looks. I just want to go ahead and say that. So I'm sorry that if I botched any names. But I do want to start with you, Nicole, my friend. And, you know,
I just want to know, because this isn't fair. Why does Joy Reid get to botch names? If I botch a name, it's because I'm racist. If I say Kamala or Kamala, but one's racist. If she does it, I'm sorry, it was an honest mistake. Just doesn't seem fair. Doesn't seem fair.
I'm so glad that you're here because, you know, when South Africa did sort of a version of it. They tried to do it. They called it Truth and Reconciliation. And it turns out the truth part is as hard as the reconciliation part for a lot of folks, right?
Yes.
I mean, there has been a resistance to what you have brought to the table, which is truth.
Really? That's what we're going with here. There's a resistance to what the 1619 Project has brought to the table, which is truth, even though the author of it admitted that it wasn't so much, to use AOC's verbiage, more factually accurate, but more morally correct. Tell me more about truth. After the whole montage of white supremacy, it's tearing apart this nation. Here's a video of a black man attacking an Asian woman. What? Please tell me more about truth, Joy Reid. This is going to be great. I'm sorry I mispronounced your name, but it's because I'm racist. I'm here for the racial healing, damn it. Tell me more about truth.
And telling the truth about this country, which for a lot of people is more than they can bear. So I want you to just talk a little bit about what it's been like to experience being a truth teller in the way you've been with the 1619 Project and what you've received in return on a negative side.
On the negative side, okay. I mean, first, I just feel like to lay the
100%
table, we have
actual
to
truth
take stock of
inbound.
where we are, which is
real
the
actual
city that
truth
was the
inbound.
largest slave trading city in the United States. In New Orleans, most cities, you would have one or two places where they would trade African people, but in New Orleans, there were some 50 spots, right? And if you look at New Orleans today, half of black children in the city live in poverty compared to 5% of white.
Do we really want to go down the road of? I mean, it's always the same thing. Where did the slaves come from? The whole world had slavery. All of human history had slavery. Where did the slaves come from? It's just tiresome at this point. It's all so tiresome.
White children. So when we want to talk about healing, yes, we have to talk about the truth, and then we have to talk about how do we
Uh-oh. My bad.
With the 1619 Project and what you
states to sitting senators to circumstances we do is not because of our pathology, but because
I'm never going to be able to find where we were when she was talking. I accidentally hit it again, and two of my hotkeys are overlapping, and it's skipping into the video. But the way she just spouts random nonsensical. I'm never going to be able to find out where she was in that rant. I'll try.
When we want to talk about healing, yes, we have to talk about the truth, and then we have to talk about how do we stop the harm that's currently being done. Then we have to talk about repair, and then we can get to healing. So let me just start that out first. So what we know is that the reason we don't want to talk about the truth is if we acknowledge what this country was actually built upon, if we acknowledge that the reason black Americans live in the circumstances we do is not because of our pathology, but because of a country that was erected literally on extracting wealth from us, then we have to do.
Dude, it's gotta be awesome. I mean, I say this all the time in different ways, but it's gotta be freaking awesome to be able to literally just say whatever crazy shit pops in your head and have to provide zero evidence for it. None whatsoever. She's putting down the foundation of if we're even going to get into talking about this, because we all know, I mean, this nation was built on extracting wealth from us. So this is our jumping off point. Really? That's where we're starting? I'm not sure we all know that. I'm not sure that that's where we're coming from. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? And that's just this is a given. We got to start here. Really? This is where we're starting? No wonder you just get to make shit up. But no. You're black and talking about racism, so I guess you're right. Again, even though you admitted that your whole 1619 was crap, but it was good crap. It was good crap. It was for the greater good.
Do something about it. So the backlash that I have experienced, which, as you know, has been everything from the former president of the United States to sitting senators to governors trying to legislate against the project to personal threats, to me is probably my greatest honor, because what that means is the truth makes powerful. People in this country very scared, and I'm glad that they're scared. Mm-hmm.
They're scared. They're scared. They're scared of you lying about things. Saying that they're scared of you feels an awful lot like someone accuses you of being homophobic or transphobic or whatever phobic. I am not phobic. Believe me, it is not fear. It's disgust.
We mentioned earlier this awful incident that happened at Indiana University where we don't have all of the details yet, but it appears to be a racially motivated hate crime directed at an Asian American. There is a really palpable sense in the reporting I've done, the folks I've talked to, Asian American folks, of like real visceral fear that something has changed or something feels more threatening in the atmosphere.
Asian American folks?
How do you think about that moment right now?
Chris, would that have anything to do with the video clip that you guys played earlier of a Asian woman being attacked in the foyer of a building, being stabbed by someone? No, yeah, it's the racist white people for sure.
Now, what its
this is the one that gets me
and how
taken
we
down for
talk
sure.
About it in ways that are honest and sort of bridge past some of the cliches.
Yeah, thank you so much for reporting on the hate crime, because I think this is something that a lot of our community members are aware of in terms of the erasure that continues to happen around Asian American struggles. And I think we
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at her. Well, I mean partially. I mean, I'm laughing at all of them, but man, yeah, the clown hair comment that got me. Oh, that's hilarious. This is Bozo the clown. Oh man, and I accidentally landed on this freeze frame. Check it out. Fantastic. I love the perfectly timed accidental freeze frames.
People and Jewish symbols around the country.
Dang it, I keep skipping into it. I got to change these hotkeys, I guess. I keep it. Apparently these hotkeys that I have for Streamlabs match YouTube's hotkeys. Jeez, how far did we skip into it?
Think about that moment right now, what its causes are, and how
There we
talk about it in ways that are honest and sort of bridge past some of the cliches.
Yeah, thank you so much for reporting on the hate crime, because I think this is something that a lot of our community members are aware of in terms of the erasure that continues to happen around Asian American struggles. And I think we'd be doing injustice to all of our community struggles if we fail to connect the dots back to the 1800s, right? This is not a new phenomenon where we are living in a state of oppression. I think that's for so long because we are immersed in the narrative of...
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. And it sounds like she's getting into this. And it's just funny that they won't admit this. Well, we have to go back to the 1800s. Yeah, no shit. That's my point. You actually have to go back to the 1800s to find the problems that you're talking about. But I guess we disagree on that those problems are in the past. I don't know. But I would agree, if we're going to find some real true racist problems, certainly the 1800s is a great place to start. And if I ever wanted to meet an actual shogun, I would also have to go back to Japan and go back over 100 years. I mean, that's so what? Oh, let's go to the 1800s, ladies and gentlemen.
Model minority myth. A lot of people think that Asian Americans and AAPI communities at large are doing better than most. And I think that is such a harmful rhetoric that has invisibilized so much of the pain and oppression that so many Asian Americans have been experiencing, not only on the streets, but systemically, right? Whether it's undocumented Asians, Muslim Asians, Black Asian Americans, there's a whole plethora of Asian people who've been fighting against oppression in different ways. So I think it's an opportunity for us to broaden the scope of the conversation and not just talk about the anti-Asian hate crimes that are happening today, but also more broadly over the historical time period in terms of how we've been oppressed in different ways in different spheres. Yeah.
Once again, as is always the case, every time. Did she dispute the fact that Asian Americans were doing better than most? And in her words, that's what she said. Did she dispute the fact? Or did she say, despite the fact that everything is going good, we're oppressed? Listen, you can't use metrics of success. Success doesn't prove success. See, this is what always happens with these types of racial healing group, whatever you want to call it. If you're having success and you're still upset based off of race, are you not in fact saying that you just think white people are better purely because of their skin? If you're actually admitting the statistical reality that Asian Americans, they do great on average in schooling and in business, but you still feel as if, well, I'm not white. What? It sounds to me like you're the white supremacist. Is anyone following me here? You see what I'm saying? It's all right. I love being white as well. It's great. It's fantastic.
And, Sharon, I want to bring you into this conversation because, the thing about American history is that there have been repetitive traumas that have played out within many communities of color, right? And so you talk about the Jewish community, and you are a fascinating woman. You are from Iran. You are Jewish. And so you kind of are intersectionality embodied in a person, right? But we...
Man. Joy? Miss Joy Reid? I think I've used that exact phrase as an insult. I'm pretty sure I've said it as, man, you are intersectionality embodied. Whereas she says it, wow, you're intersectionality embodied. I guess it's all a matter of perspective.
We've also seen, along with the attacks on Asian Americans, along with the continued anti-blackness, and particularly in education, in wanting to resist learning about the things that have happened to people of color, there has also been the same kind of fight about the history of what happened to Jewish people. There's been an erasure there, too, and a pushback. You know, when they're banning so-called critical race theory, they're also banning books about the Holocaust. And we've seen an uptick in attacks on Jewish people and Jewish symbols around the country. So talk a little bit about how that works and how I would love for all of you to jump in on talking about how do we make this a conversation across groups so that we can support one another.
So first of all, thank
No.
Donald Trump looks to.
Oh, man. Why am I?
This is an
I keep having such a hard time with this. But what I was saying is no. Joy Reid. I am not touching the Jewish question with a 39.5-foot pole, okay? I know better than to even speak at all about whatever this woman's about to say. I saw what they did to Ye. No, but seriously, you can't talk about the Jews. I think that's probably the biggest no. In any capacity. So I'm just gonna sit here quietly and I'm gonna nod and say, absolutely. There's never been a case of a faked hate crime against a synagogue or a Jewish person in general. I mean, I was able to say that about black people and about Asians, but no. You're not going to get me on this one. No. I'm walking around this landmine. I think it's actually worse that I just went on that rant instead of just letting it play. I'm a huge Ben Shapiro fan. It's all right. I have a Jew friend.
You are from Iran. And so you kind of are intersectionality embodied in a person, right? But we've also seen, along with the attacks on Asian Americans, along with the continued anti-blackness, and particularly in education, in wanting to resist learning about the things that have happened to people of color, there has also been the same kind of fight about the history of what happened to Jewish people. There's been an erasure there, too, and a pushback. You know, when they're banning so-called critical race theory, they're also banning books about the Holocaust. And we've seen an uptick in attacks.
They're banning books about the Holocaust? Oh my God. Oh. Get out of here. Get out of here. Are you talking about the one single book, a comic book that had to do with the Holocaust that was taken out of elementary school libraries in certain schools? Is that what you're talking about? This constitutes us banning books about the Holocaust? Are you retarded? They're banning books about the Holocaust. This is like the that one woman on one of the TikTok videos I did who was saying that conservatives don't even want us to teach about slavery. What? Who's saying you shouldn't teach about slavery? They're banning books about the Holocaust. Get out of here. I mean, it's when they say things like this that really shows you that they are full of crap. I mean, come on. No person who was being genuine would ever say that books about the Holocaust are being banned. Because what you're saying here, obviously, in this context, is you're implying that Holocaust denial is on the rise. That's what you're implying with this. I mean, look at the context of what we're talking about here. They're talking about anti-Semitism and saying that attacks against Jews are on the rise, and they're even banning books about the Holocaust. What does that say? Given that whole context, what are you implying here? You're clearly implying that schools, well, I didn't even say school, just the nation as a whole is trying to, or already has banned books about the Holocaust because of an anti-Semitic Holocaust denial. That is, well, that's Joy Reid. I was going to say that's batshit crazy, but I guess that's a synonym for Joy Reid. I mean, how disingenuous can you be? That's crazy. Man. Let's hear more about how they're banning books about the Holocaust. This is going to take a long time to get through. We might not even be able to get through the whole thing. All right, yeah, banned books and Holocaust denial. Let's go.
Attacks on Jewish people and Jewish symbols around the country. So talk a little bit about how that works and how I would love for all of you to jump in on talking about how do we make this a conversation across groups so that we can support one another.
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm representing ADL, the oldest anti-hate organization in America. So when we were founded in 1913,
is that still
our founders
something
understood
to brag about?
In order to fight anti-Semitism and the
still
defamation
brag
of the Jewish
about
people,
being
we need
with
to
the
also
ADL?
secure justice and fair treatment for all. So 1913, our founders knew that. And we knew that before the Holocaust. We knew that what is happening to American Jewry will be one that will affect all marginalized communities, and we're all stuck in this together. So the anti-Semitic that we understand in America, and we as ADL measure through.
I was making this joke earlier, and it's a joke, but it also is true. About how, I mean, you can't say anything about the Jews. People flip out, even more than if you said that, if you quoted black crime statistics or, any of the things. But it just seems unfair to me that she can say Jewry, and when I say it, it sounds anti-Semitic. It does. When I say just the word, doesn't even need a context. She says it, it sounds like, oh, well, yeah. Then you see a white guy who's 6'2" with a beard, wearing overalls on a tractor, says Jewry. Suddenly it seems like, whoa, dude, tone down the anti-Semitism. I mean, jeez. Oh, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we got the first super chat of the night. Fox Hill Farmer saying, I need a song. Come on, Alex Jones. It's true. Everyone needs a break from MSNBC's National Day of Racial Healing. Oh, it's been rough. It really has. All right, let's do it. Let's see if it's an Alex Jones one.
You've been the big guy for 6 months now in the White House. Can you take us behind the scenes, something that was extraordinary or unusual that happened that stands out to you?
Here's the deal. I want to say, whoa, felt like a walk out of my robe to go in.
Now that's a classic. I think that was the first super chat song I ever did. Well, it wasn't Alex Jones. But, sir, consider your butt wiped. Hey, I like it more now that it's the jukebox is set up, so I don't It always felt weird for me to pick one because what if you didn't like it? I feel bad. I'm responsible for it. Now it's just the luck of the draw. You cannot blame me. It's because of the Jewery going on. See, I brought it back. Let's continue talking about Jewry. See, I'm telling you, when I say Jewry, it sounds anti-Semitic. It's not. I'm not anti-Semitic, but where's Pro? He's got to tell me how many feet I've dug down into my grave now. I knew this was going to happen if we were going to cover MSNBC's town hall of racial healing. That just sounds like a recipe for disaster. All right. Let's continue.
Through mechanisms that we have, we do anti-Semitic surveys of attitudes. We just released one for 2022, highest watermark in decades.
Oh, well, never mind. We'll pause it again. We got Majin jumping in the chat. Second super chat of the night. What's up, brother? At this point, super chats are just helping me to break up me digging my own grave here. The more that you talk about that you're not anti-Semitic and you talk about Jewry, the more it seems like that you may be anti-Semitic. So I appreciate the super chats to help break this up. All right, Majin, let's see what you get. Let's see what the super chat jukebox has for you.
A lot of people say the Republican Party is too extreme, too divisive, too controlled by one person. Ronald Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear this wall down. Today's Republicans say, tear down Mickey Mouse's house.
Classic. Oh, Majin, did you miss Butt's Been Wiped? That was the super chat before yours was Butt's Been Wiped. You must have come in right after. You must have showed up right after your butt had been wiped. I'm very sorry to hear you missed it. All right, I keep trying to get back to the Jewry. Let's get back to it.
We look at incidents of attacks, assault against Jews, highest watermark in decades. Again, we look at online hate. We measure that. And we see that Jews, LGBT, AAPI, those are the groups that are getting targeted online. That's what ADL does. We have the data.
Now, that absolutely is true. That if you were to look online and go to places like 4chan, would anyone admit to it? But I love how they use this as, well, in the dark corners of the web, the dark corners of the web. Easily accessible mainstream websites. But sure, the dark corners, they say, well, it's mostly hatred for LGBTQ and, for Jews and blah, blah, blah. I just have to ask one question. Why do you think that is? And no, I'm not making an argument saying that you should hate these people. What I'm saying is, where else is it even acceptable for you to say, well, I really do not feel comfortable with a non-binary or trans whatever with prosthetic breasts and blue hair and an inside-out pee-pee teaching my children. I'm not comfortable with that. You can only say that on places like 4chan and the dark places on the internet. You're not allowed to say that anywhere else. So of course it would be there. And of course there'd be a lot of it. Because where else would they be able to say it? I mean, I just don't really understand this argument. It's like saying that, I don't drink. And I've noticed that when I'm at my house, there's not anybody drinking anywhere. And every time every time I go to the bar, there's people drinking everywhere. The place is lousy with it's all over. It's an epidemic. I mean, I don't allow it in my house, but every time I go to the bar, it's everywhere. Who could have seen that coming? Man, this is going to be the thing that gets my channel deleted again.
Shows that we are in a dire situation right now, and town halls like this are critical to bring this attention to all.
So, you know, there's this sort of abstract sense, and there's a political theory about how politics would happen in America, right? That there's this emerging Democratic majority, and as the country grew increasingly diverse and less white, there would be this sort of coalition of groups. People talked about this.
Oh, there you go. Gino knows what's up. He's with he's with me on the white trash outdoor couch. That's our thing. These damn transgender Canadians thinking they invented the outdoor couch. Who do you think you're talking to, buddy? Keep your foxhole away from me. If you haven't watched that, I'm sorry that you're not getting this joke, but it's all right. It's all right.
Obama coalition. You can see, right? Asian Americans voting for Barack Obama, African Americans, obviously, in historic numbers, Jews as well. But like in reality, and especially if you're around city politics, right? In the Bronx, where I grew up, or New Orleans, like there's lots of beef. Like it's not like everyone's like, oh, well, we're all fighting the same enemy. It's like there's lots of beef. There's lots of beef in terms of how groups think about each other, the stereotypes they might have about each other. And I wonder how you think about pluralism at this time when like the threat is very real, but there are also a lot of people trying to use pitting groups against each other as a crowbar, right? To sort of pry apart that solidarity and pry apart those sorts of coalitions.
That's absolutely true. And we see it especially in New York, where you have different communities.
What a typical mainstream media. This whole conversation is... let me make this really long-winded statement where I assert all of these things. I assume all of these things. And we all know these are true. These are true. It's a given. We all know. Don't you agree? What a fantastic style of interviewing. Just this long-winded propaganda. Am I right? Oh, yes. You're absolutely 100% right. And please allow me to then repeat everything you just said back to you in a slightly different manner because I am one of the oppressed peoples. What a world.
With fear and fearing the other, right? So Jews on black on Jewish assaults. And it is about going past those stereotypes. I mean, that's what our data shows. A lot of Americans believe the conspiracy theories that they read on social media. They believe it. And there's no way to really push back against it because the fear that we're all living in today is...
Oh, man. So one, a lot of people believe the conspiracy theories like, and stay with me here, the conspiracy theory that the vaccine doesn't stop transmission. The conspiracy theory that the CDC is now a proponent of says that this is true. And there's no one to push back against this except for the FBI, the DOJ, the NSA, big tech, literally every single government organization that exists. And every single big tech company except Elon Musk. Have a word with yourself. Come on.
Is the fear of the other. And no matter what the other is, whether it's both marginalized communities, one on the other, and we become more inward turning, we become more isolated, and that's when the hate mongers win. They want to divide us. They want to isolate us so we don't work together. So we don't pass hate crime legislation. So we don't have our legislators really acting on protecting the communities that really are the marginalized communities.
You know, and I think I go back again to the 1619 Project.
All right, we got to do this. We got to check this out. This was our first decent pan of the audience. Who's here? Who is watching? We're gonna slow this down. Enhance.
That's when the hate mongers win.
Yeah. Shut up. Okay, let's. You can slow it down, right? Or is always speed it up? Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's check out. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Maybe I slowed it down too much. Oh, here we go. This pretty much looks exactly like I would expect it to look. Dead on exactly what I would have guessed. This actually, honestly, it actually looks like the Democrat focus group video that I did. It's not hard to figure out. The only thing that I'm surprised about, I only see 2 people wearing masks. But they are like giant masks. I mean, those are look at me masks. Look how virtuous I am masks. Enhance. This is what I do with the funding I get from the federal government to be able to bring you this kind of quality. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Why are you doing this? That mask is almost the size of your head. Even the CDC and the World Health Organization do not advocate this anymore. I mean, just, this is the where sometimes you can get black pilled. Where you go, it's too late. It's over. Because when you see someone wearing a mask like that, you realize, is it really possible? Can we save? Not just the United States, but just the world. I mean, the World Economic Forum meeting's happening again. It just happened this past week in Davos. Those guys are crazy. And they openly talk about wanting to basically destroy the entire planet. People don't watch it, so they don't realize how it's like these people sound like Bond villains. And you think, well, I know how crazy they are, so surely there's others who do, and there are other people who know this. So maybe we can beat them. Maybe we can beat them. And then you see something like this. How many people are still wearing masks like that? It's sad. It's poor bastards.
You know, and I think I go back again to the 1619 Project of resetting the understanding of the origins of the country. But if you were to really reset our understanding, you'd have to talk about Chinese Americans and the exclusion of this group that people wanted to come in to work, but not to stay and not to become Americans. Or you want to talk about downtown, where it was Jewish people and black people who were thrown together downtown.
Crazy eyes. It's always crazy eyes. They just can't help it. It's crazy eye. It's liberal eye syndrome. It's statist sycophant eye syndrome. State propagandist eye syndrome. They just can't help it, man. They just can't help it.
And now when you start to gentrify downtown, it is black people who are being evicted, and these groups are now being set against each other. There's so much intersectionality in it. And I wonder, as a professor now, as you're at Howard University, as you're talking about these issues of the black struggle, how do we incorporate that wider story so that we are telling a coherent story across all of these groups and coalition building?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the problem is we're all taught this history.
The problem is, before we even hear the answer to this question, that question was utter nonsense. That was a nonsensical stringing together of words. What? That means nothing. God. You know, if I just had no soul, man, this is what I should be doing. I could just spew out gobbledygook. That'd be great. But of course, let's see how great the answer is to this dumpster fire of a question.
History so poorly. So it's not just that white Americans aren't learning the history, but none of us are really learning the history. So one of the things we talk about in my class are how actually it was Chinese immigrants and black Americans who were considered the two groups who could not be assimilated. And so before the Chinese Exclusion Act and then after the act, often you would see black and Chinese people being written out of their rights in the law. And in fact, the one group who didn't achieve citizenship under the 14th Amendment were Asian Americans, and they would have to sue again. But then a very early school desegregation case in Mississippi was a Chinese family suing not to have to put their kids in the black school. They weren't suing to end segregation, they were suing to be counted as white. So us not learning these histories, I mean, we do have these suspicions of each other. And I always tell my students, who does the narrative serve, right? Who does the narrative benefit?
You know, here's something that I will never understand. So her point here is that black people and Asian people were treated differently and they had different rights given to them at different times. Which in and of itself is, anyway, it's let's just roll with these things. I'm not saying that every single thing that she says is completely factually inaccurate. That's not what I'm saying. But this idea that she goes, okay, let me quote this totally obscure thing that 99% of the country has no idea about. And she says, this is proof of why we're suspicious of each other. How could that possibly be if no one even knows what the hell you're talking about? I mean, just practically speaking. This is why black people and Asian people are suspicious of each other. Really? This is it? That's the reason? Are you sure? What are you talking about? It's like if I'm sitting at the bar and I meet somebody and we just don't hit it off. We're not friends. We're kind of like, oh man, this guy's kind of a dick. And the bartender comes over and goes, oh yeah, you don't know? That's Jacob. His great grandfather once stole $2 from your equal number of greats grandfather. It's just in your genetics that you're going to be suspicious of him. And neither of you guys know about this, but that's it. That's what happened. Oh, now I get it. That's why Jacob's an ass. What? Of course, the past affects the present, but not some random thing that no one knows about. It can't happen. The past affects the present more than it should in some ways because of this bringing back of a racial obsession. a slavery obsession, a whiteness obsession, as they always have the whiteness. Because of your obsession of irrelevant parts of history is causing problems and things that most people don't even know about this crap. Not that they shouldn't, not that, oh, we shouldn't teach this in schools. It's irrelevant. It's like when they wanted to tear down, the Black Lives Matter Antifa, when they got all these statues torn down and stuff. We shouldn't remember these people. What? We should remember the good parts of history? No, yeah, okay. We don't want made up history. But there's a reason, learn all of history, but there's a reason why we glorify the good moments in history. There's a reason why we celebrate Thanksgiving. To strive to be better. But yeah, tell me more about how an Asian person and a black person got in a fight 200 years ago, and now that's why the Asian kid who just saw his mom get stabbed to death by a black person when she was trying to get into their apartment is the reason that that's why they're suspicious of each other. Or maybe they just were, looking around them. This is the problem when you boil everything down to race. You can't have actual conversations because now you could say that everything I just said right there is racist. You could say that I'm implying that all black people are whatever way. And to which, to that I would say, well, you're an idiot. That's stupid. That's a stupid thing to say. When you do this whole thing that they do now, which is boil everything down to race, it stops all the conversation. Oh, 200 years ago, two people had an argument and it resulted in these laws, and now that's why all black people and Asians hate each other. What? Get out of town.
Benefit. And when you question that, then you begin to realize that there are powerful interests that don't want us to understand that history, that don't want us to understand our common struggle. And so we're over here fighting for crumbs and respect while the hierarchy is maintained and stays in place.
Yeah. I'm curious how you think about this in terms of...
Shut up, white man. Shut up, white man.
In terms of identity, right? Because, I mean, one of the things we're dealing with all the time is like many of these.
And again, here we are again in the same situation where she ended this by saying, and then the hierarchy stays in place while we bicker amongst each other. Then everyone cheers. No, I want to go back to that. No proof required. No evidence required. Just a bold claim. Well, we all know that's true. I mean, look at her. She's black. She must know. But that's not racist to assume that a black woman knows. I mean, it's all stupid. It's just all so stupid. Not black people. This is stupid. Well, I mean, some black people are stupid, but I mean, so are some Jews and Mexicans. But we all know all white people are smart. Just playing the part. Just playing the part, man. Hey, this is what they think that white men are like. So I'm just playing the part, man. Oh man. 15 minutes in. It's all we're only 15 minutes into this video.
identities are both, created and real, right? So Asian American, right? Like there's people from the Philippines and from Indonesia. There are people from Korea and Japan and China. It's like, it's not all the same place, right? But it's in the cauldron of American, often in the cauldron of American oppression that identity is forged.
That's right.
How do you think about this identity, Asian American or API, at this moment, in what this sort of persistent feeling of threat is doing to that as a political identity?
Yes, I think it's a complex identity because, like you said, it is a mix of so many different ethnicity, different groups that are fighting against essentially white supremacy.
Man. Every single question, see if it doesn't follow the pattern that I laid out earlier. Let me make some grand overarching statement that assumes and asserts a lot of things with no proof, no way to even these are all a given. And then am I right? And then the person replies and repeats everything back. Wow. What an interview. Such facts. So good. I love it. I live for this.
Supremacy. And, up until the 1960s, we were known as the Orientals. And that's very recent, right? So this collective identity of this political identity of Asian American really emerged recently. And I think we're still figuring out how to build coalition within our communities, right? Where, so much of this conversation could be around East Asian struggles versus really looking at so many different types of Asian people, Southeast Asian people, and also even under the category of Asian struggles, are we talking about people who've been previously incarcerated? Are we talking about sex workers? Are we talking about undocumented people? Because these are all people who are part of the narrative who are not being visibilized. And
Visibilized. Wow, you are not sounding very Asian. I mean, she even said it herself. Asians were pretty smart. I had something I wanted to say, and visibilized just threw me for a loop. I got to roll it back. One more time.
Of Asian struggles, are we talking about people who've been previously incarcerated? Are we talking about sex workers? Are we talking about undocumented people? Because these are all people who are part of the narrative who are not being visibilized. And I think...
Oh, right. What I was going to say is, well, one, visibilized, of course. But they keep doing this. Everyone keeps doing this. Every person they talk to keeps doing this. Deflecting. Because you know how you're truly virtuous is if someone asks you some crazy question about how, so how do you feel about that all oppression in the cauldron of American hatred or whatever the hell Chris Hayes called it, they consider all of these people to be the same, and that's really what's caused all these problems. And the white people they just hate them. And she goes, "Well, thank you, Chris. Yes, of course, that's absolutely true. But what about the disabled people? What about the sex workers? What about the you just deflect into other." Well, yeah, but see, here's the thing. You were just trying to virtue signal. I have the better virtue signal because I will now bring in other groups. What about the disabled trans black women with rickets? Didn't think of that, did you? Did you, Chris? You asked me a question, but really what we should be talking about is, do you know there's sex workers? Do you know? Do you know? I'm not going to say anything about these groups, but do you know they exist? Are you even aware? And and let me sum it all up by saying white supremacy. And then everyone clapped. Woo!
Also, when we're talking about building coalition, we still suffer so much from the remnants of the political acts that have happened to serve, to position Asian people as the wedge within the people of color communities, right? Where when we go back to history and examine the origin of the model minority myth being a political weapon that was created by white conservatives to position us as better minorities compared to people who are marching on the front lines during the civil rights era, who were predominantly Black Americans. So really,
bullshit. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but anytime there's ever something called anything along the lines of National Day of Racial Healing or some kind of tolerance event or dismantling systems of oppression, blah 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 blah. Just rename them. God, we hate white people. I mean, is that not the target of every single thing that's been said thus far? She just said it multiple times. I mean, everyone said it multiple times, but it's just really bizarre that if you bring this up, people act as if you're some kind of, oh, he's a white pride, white national, blah, blah, blah. So, I'm just listening to what you're saying, lady. And everything you just said, after you got done talking about the sex work, the black sex trans worker with rickets, was that the systems that oppress us were from white people. I can't even make any jokes about things that I'd like to make jokes about systems that were. Oh, let me. Where's Pro? Is he still measuring the grave that I'm digging for myself here? I can't make jokes about things that may. How does it? Things that might potentially be in some way construed as possibly negative about certain groups of people who are not white, which would be every other group of people that could possibly in some way be misconstrued, because we know that they would never do anything bad, as something that was possibly negative in history somewhere in a totally hypothetical way, that I could never get a group together and get it on TV and talk about it. And that's about as clear as I can make this topic. Clear as mud. Now, just to cleanse the YouTube algorithm that's continually scanning this, all the time, all that stuff works. White people are evil. Donald Trump was literally worse than Hitler. And I'm pretty sure my entire salary should just go to the black person that lives nearest to me. So, all right, there we go. We've cleansed the timeline. Let's go.
The fundamental nature of the model minority myth is resting on anti-Black racism. Yes. And so I think that's a really important detail that we need to be addressing and educating all communities around how often this tactic gets used to divide us when the common enemy for us is the root of white supremacy.
Yeah, to Nicole's point too, like the degree to which this history is just unknown. Like,
do I even need to say it? At this point, I just went on that whole weird rant. They think white supremacy is just a white guy sitting on a couch. So she just said, who's our enemy? Like our enemy. I mean, come on, man. How is this racial healing? This is more like a reverse Klan meeting. Well, Chris Hayes is there. So I guess it's a reverse Klan meeting plus one incredibly gay man. Well, I guess actually the Klan probably didn't like gay people either. So yeah, it's a reverse Klan meeting.
If you tell someone about immigration debates now, you say the first immigration law this country passed was called the Chinese Exclusion Act, and basically said anyone can come but Chinese folks. Well, people don't know that. They don't know. They're like, oh, we have open borders. Like, yeah, we had open borders for 100 years.
That's right.
Dr. Sharon Nazarian from the ADL, Michelle Mi Jun Kim, CEO of Awaken. Thank you both. It's wonderful to have you here. We're going to ask Nicole if you'll stick with us.
All right, and when we come back right here to Studio B in New Orleans, we're going to be joined by a woman who has spent her life fighting for civil rights. Minnie Jean Brown Trickey was one of the 9 high school students who integrated Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1957. And she is going to join us next. But first, we want to check in with our friend Tremaine Lee. Tremaine?
Thank you so much, Joy. Thank you so much. I'm here with Chief Laura Ann Chazon, the Principal Chief of the United Homa Nation, one of the indigenous people who call what is present-day Louisiana home. I want to ask you, Native people have experienced a unique kind of wounding in this country, and I wonder for you in that context, what is racial healing?
Well, first of all, I am a Native person in this country. So to feel as if I am being excluded from this group is highly offensive. I just hope that after they talk to this woman, who I'm not entirely, I mean, it's kind of racially ambiguous a little bit there, but you know, that never happens either. People race baiting or race faking, whatever. I hope after this they bring up a 6'2" white man who weighs 200 pounds with a big beard, talk about how he feels about being a native to this land. Hey, he was born here, man. Yeah, I just didn't anticipate. I guess I should have known watching this. The only jokes I was going to be able to make were going to be about white people. Or we're going to include white people. I mean, I guess that was the only way it was ever going to work. Might have to rename this, or someone eventually, whenever I get enough subscribers that the left cares about this. This will be nicknamed the swamp white nationalist stream or something like that. I'm just playing off of them, man. Just playing off of them.
To be able to acknowledge our contribution to our country, and also to understand all the damage that has been done to our tribal people in Indian.
Wait a minute. Wait one cotton picking minute. Oh my God. This person looks like Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris mixed together. Slow it down. Enhance. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That's Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton mixed. They're mixed. They mixed them together in a lab. Jeez. That's the most heinous thing I could think of, is if you mix those two together. Wow. Yeah, I think you might be right. I think we've proven revelation. We've we've witnessed the Antichrist. Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. Dear Lord. I didn't want to think it was possible.
Here, but to be able to start having that conversation about Andrew Jackson's statue, you know, that has done so much harm to our people. And
every single word on this, I just have to really. And you know what makes it so much worse? I mean, this is already stupid. This statue has done so much harm to our people. But you know what makes it worse? This is how you know you're standing around a bunch of propagandists, NPCs. Here we go.
You know, that has done so much harm.
Oh, I didn't go back far enough. Here we go.
Conversation about Andrew Jackson's statue. You know,
right there. Everyone going. Yeah. Nailed it, girl. Nailed it.
Indian country. And not only that, but to start having hard conversations. You know, we're here in New Orleans, and it's beautiful, my favorite city, and I'm here. But to be able to start having that conversation about Andrew Jackson's statue, you know, that has done so much harm to our people. And
lady, how about you come back? You come back to the table. You come back here and talk to me. When you get anywhere close, and I'm going to be generous, I mean literally anywhere in the ballpark, to making 1/20th of the impact on the entire nation that Andrew Jackson did. Okay? You come back to me and you complain about that once you've done that. My God. The arrogance. The sheer arrogance.
And even the Mardi Gras Indians, you know, the misappropriation there, because it's not our people, you know. And so those are conversations that's not being said here in the city. And our people, I'll speak for our
this
Houma
never
people.
gets talked about.
We built the French Quarter.
The fact that
French
Andrew Jackson's a bad person never gets talked about.
Don't even know that in this city. And Congo Square, where we're at, you know, in New Orleans, that was some of our ceremonial grounds. We had green.
Oh my gosh, it's Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris fused together. God, it's creepy. It's actually creepy. And I love how they're standing in a room of people that whenever they say some dumb crap, everyone goes, yeah, preach, But then they say, no one talks about this. No one talks about this. Really? So few people talk about this crap that we've had at least like a dozen statues of these types of people removed over the last 2 years or 3 years, whatever. No one talks about this. It's always the victim complex, persecution complex, you know. And so like, no one talks about this. I'm standing here on MSNBC right now, surrounded by a bunch of people who all agree with me, and then anyone who disagrees with this will immediately be painted as a white supremacist Nazi garbage human being. It's so hard. I think someone should finally speak out. No one ever brings this up. Get out of here, Kamala Clinton.
Corn ceremony, but most of the people don't know that. And so it's to have those hard conversations about our people here and in this country. I mean, this is our land. but people talk to us like.
Is it? Is it? Is it? No, really. Is it? Is it your land? No, no, it is not. Because you stole it from somebody who stole it from somebody who stole it from somebody. And by stole it from somebody, I mean lost a war. Get out of here. Get out of here. Is it? Is it your land? Is it?
Like we're a pass. And in the school system, there's only 27 states in the United States that actually teaches Native history. And of the 27 states, 89% do not teach tribal to the 1900s, prior to 1900s. After 1900, sorry. But it's
What? Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this again.
state that actually teaches Native history. And of the 27.
First of all, everyone teaches Native history. I'm 32 years old and I learned the hell out of some Native history when I was in school. Come on, get out of here. But this is the next part. What? She doesn't even seem to know what she's talking about.
In states, 89% do not teach tribal to the 1900s, prior to 1900s. After.
80% do not teach tribal history. No, prior to 18. It's hard when you just make this shit up as you go. I know. I never script anything. I just ramble. So I mean, it happens. It happens. Hillary Harris. Oh man, that's the one. 'Cause it's also HH. Kamala Clinton was good, but Hillary Harris, that's it.
The 1900s, sorry. But it's like, wait a minute. We're still here. We have a lot of tribes in the United States. And in Louisiana, there's 5 tribes that I've been working with for 30-something years. And so it's important that we have these hard conversations, because they're very difficult conversations here, especially here in the city of New Orleans.
Difficult indeed. Chief Shazan, thank you very much. We'll be right back.
What is difficult about the conversation, though? Really? Like, they always say that it's going to be difficult conversations. What's the difficult conversation? You didn't say anything. You didn't say anything. This was an incredibly easy conversation to have. You didn't say anything. It's a much harder conversation to have with the crazy lady who made the 1619 Project, because she just spews a lot of crazy stuff. That's a hard conversation because, well, it's crazy. And how do you talk to crazy? But most of the time when they say we need to have hard conversations, is it a hard conversation? You didn't say anything. You talked basically about how potentially one day we'd have to have some conversation about what? You couldn't even remember what you were talking about when it came to schools. Was it 85 since 1890 of the tribal who thought that 17 something was? It's difficult conversations ahead. It really is. It really is. Oh man, this audio is doing them dirty. This band actually might be good. I have no idea. But those mics is terrible.
Healing to me means that I am only as free as the person sitting next to me. So we should all come together because our freedoms are all intricately bound up in one another's.
Welcome back to Studio B in New Orleans. Behind me, you can see a painting by Brandon B. Mike Odoms called My Little Generation. It shows a present-day New Orleanian confronting an artifact from the past when segregation was a rule, from water fountains to schoolhouses.
Didn't I already say this earlier? That the only time when that nice Asian lady was speaking is that it was like, well, really, we have to go back to the 1800s. Yes, that's my point. It's a painting of a modern black man facing a relic of the past. Well, yeah, he never had to it was fixed. It's been fixed. What? How is this? What? Okay. We still have racial problems in the country. This is getting out of control.
On their first day at the new school, Minnie Jean Brown and 8 other black kids found an angry mob and the National Guard blocking the schoolhouse door. It was 1957 in Little Rock, Arkansas. The teenagers were trying to integrate Little Rock Central High School. They tried 3 different times over the course of a month.
General Walker, commander of the division, was asked to delay the entrance of the Negroes for a day to let things cool off. But General Walker decided no, this had to be done.
Finally, backed by 1,200 soldiers, they made it inside for their first full day of class. Minnie Jean and her friends were known as the Little Rock Nine.
This is kind of the bait and switch thing they do here, where they show the modern the modern facing relics of the past, and then they actually show you an actual story where you're like, well, yeah, this is an interesting story. This is God help me, this is actual history, actual news. Wow. It's like how they started this, though. They then conflate that with what they're doing in the 1619 Project and act as if they're continuing on with the bravery of the people who actually got schools desegregated. Are you kidding me? Come on. This is stupid. It's like they show you all the pictures of the Proud Boys rallies and the feds, called the Patriot Front, and they show you these pictures. And they talk about how the white nationalist problem and how they're attacking people. And then the only video they show you of an attack is a black man attacking an Asian woman. This is the same thing, where they try to show you some actual history, where they go, hey, look at this. This is a pivotal moment in the history of our nation. And you go, yeah. Oh, that's cool. And now let's go back to the woman who wrote the 1619 Project. As if they're somehow comparable. Not even close. Not even close. Get out of here.
We remember them today as heroes. At the time, they were just kids, trying to learn amid a torrent of abuse. White students called them names, spat on them, hurled hot food at them, even sprayed them with acid.
So this is what they always do. There was bad people. There were racist people who did bad things. Once bad, always bad. Death to the white man. I mean, I guess we can watch some. I mean, this is the undisputed part. What I don't like is them spinning it and changing it into something that it's not. But I guess we continue it a little bit longer and we'll see how it goes.
One day, a white girl hit Minnie Jean in the head with a purse, and Minnie Jean responded by calling her white trash. For this one misstep, the school expelled Minnie Jean. White students passed notes that read, quote, 1 down, 8 to go. Minnie Jean Brown, now Minnie Jean Brown Tricky, would end up finishing her education far from home in New York City. She had spent a lifetime thinking about racial healing for the country and for what she herself endured in trying to push the country forward.
We were ordinary teenagers, and we were interested in changing something. And we believed that we could.
And joining us now is Minnie Jean Brown Tricky. Minnie Jean, thank you. It's so
Isn't it? I mean, honestly, a little bit insulting to have these, like, to be on the stage next to the woman who did the 1619 project. Like, they're actually saying that these two things are similar. That, like, what Minnie went through is the same as, like, they're somehow continuing a legacy. This is garbage, man. This is absolutely garbage. These are not the same things. Not at all. One woman actually went through something and experienced something, and the other woman here with the, as we said earlier, the clown hair, admits that she made this shit up. How is that the same? How is that at all the same? Or I guess, you know, be like, oh, she didn't make it up. Okay. Like I said, the morally, she wrote the morally correct story, if not the factually correct story. That was AOC's phrasing. I can't remember how she phrased it, but she phrased it very similarly to that, you know, wasn't historical. But come on, how could that possibly be the same? As far as I can tell, it's actually just insulting. Wouldn't you feel insulted? I don't know. I mean, I guess unless she just doesn't know. But man. It would seem insulting to me.
great to have you here. Seriously, it's amazing to have you here. Absolutely.
Why are you standing
we
up?
We also have Pulitzer Prize winning Nicole Hannah-Jones, who's the creator of the
Still
1619
here.
Project, who has stuck around. The term racial healing can feel abstract, I think, to some, but in your case, you were 14 years old, undergoing just tremendous trauma.
Oh, this guy.
What has it meant for you just
this freaking guy
in your life?
I think it's meant that I didn't want any other kids, no matter who they were, no matter what color, that to happen again. And I think that's what I've done as much as I could with my life. I teach nonviolence. I interact with kids as often as I can. I have great conversations in different parts of the world as well as the U.S. But
I mean, honestly, listen to this woman. I mean, it just seems insulting to have her on the stage next to 1619 Bozo the Clown over here. I bet you if you actually went into depth about what this woman thinks versus the 1619 Project woman, they would actually probably have very little in common, because everything that this woman just said right there, that I would hope that children of no race have to deal with what I've dealt with, which is, you know, the thing that, you know, the civil rights movement people talked about with that kind of stuff. I wouldn't just bet you, I know for a fact, people who are into the 1619 Project, they do not agree with that at all. They don't like white people and they don't want people to be treated equally. I mean, that's what they say. It's not a taking out of context or what. I mean, like, it's oh, well, what do I know? Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, super chats. We'll activate the super chat jukebox. Always appreciate the support. I'm actually going on vacation next week, so I'm going to be out of town. I'm going to be on the road. I've recorded some videos that are going to be going up, but there will be no live streams next week. If you're a member of the Discord, I teased the Steven Crowder parody. I wanted to get that done by tonight, but I just started it today. I couldn't quite get it done, so hopefully I can get it done tomorrow before I leave town, and then it will go up soon, either Saturday or Sunday. Because this whole Steven Crowder Daily Wire thing is just stupid. And by stupid, I mean Steven Crowder was being an ass. And even if you disagree with that, you should still be able to have a laugh about it. All right? It should let's see if you're one of those tribal people like the left always is. You can't make fun of anybody. But I'm sure this will be another one of those things where about once or twice a year, I make some video or I do some segment on the live show where I rip on someone who's a conservative, and then people who don't know me at all start calling me a libtard and a lib shit and a crazy woke whatever. You need to have a sense of humor and stop worshiping these people as deities. Grow up. Crowder did a stupid thing, and it deserves to have a parody made of it. And I think it's going to be hilarious. If it makes you cry, stop being a snowflake. You never again get to talk to me about how the left always freaks out about everything. Grow up. All right, guys. It's been fun. It's fun. We made it like halfway through this freaking racial healing thing. So maybe we'll do tomorrow. Actually, I'll talk to Bog about it. Bog's coming down here to meet me. My brother, if you don't remember, so that we can leave early Sunday morning on this road trip. Maybe he'll be down to sit with me here on the couch, and we'll do the second half of the National Day of Racial Healing. But I feel racially healed. 100%. But, I was already white to begin with, so consider me racially healed. I'm not sure how far you're allowed to push the racial jokes on YouTube. I'm really not sure. It's comedy. It is. Don't be a snowflake. But yeah, I'll ask Bog and see if he's into it. I don't know. I just thought of it just now, so we'll see. Maybe we'll do the second half tomorrow. But anyway, this has been the first living room chill live stream, because like I said at the beginning, I didn't take the time to. I just didn't have time. I was working all this week and was trying to get videos stacked up for when I was out of town. Didn't have time to actually put together a regular Friday show. So this was the first chill living room hangout show. I think it went pretty well, as long as it doesn't result in me getting canceled for anti-Semitism and all other kinds of stuff. But anyway, hope you had a good time. Appreciate the super chats. Don't forget to check out the merch. Join the Discord if you haven't. I'll hang out on the Discord for a little bit after this. Yeah, my name is Swamp Johnson, and I love being white.